رحلة طالب التميز تبدأ من الصف الأول ثانوي. في الصف الأول ثانوي يشارك الطالب في برنامج اسمه التأهيل للتميز. هو عبارة عن تدريبات على مهارات اختبار السات، ولكن هذه التدريبات تكون خلينا نقول مهارات بسيطة إلى مهارات متوسطة. في الصف الثاني ثانوي الطالب يشارك في برنامج التميز، وهنا نفس الكلام اللي احنا شرحناه في الأول، إنه الطالب راح يكون له تدريبات وورش مكثفة في مهارات اختبار السات المتقدمة جدا، الجلسات الاستشارية، نشتغل مع الطالب على كيف يبني ويطور ملف إنجازات الطالب، يكون في هناك مساعدة على تعبئة النماذج، يكون هناك مراجعة المقالات المطلوبة، أشياء كثير جدا راح يحصل عليها الطالب خلال سنة كاملة من الالتزام معنا في هذا البرنامج، عشان بحول الله تعالى قبل ما يتخرج من الثانوية يكون حصل على القبول اللي يطمح له. أمامكم الآن مجموعة أمثلة لأميز القبولات اللي حصل عليها الطلاب في البرنامج، ودي أذكر كذا بشكل سريع من هذه القبولات. عندنا القبول في جامعة هارفارد. القبول في جامعة هارفارد أقول لكم إنه من عام 2019 و7 سنين قبل ما في ولا طالب تم قبوله في هذه الجامعة، لكن بفضل الله تعالى في 2019 تم قبول أول طالب سعودي، وهو طالب موهبة من برنامج التميز، فارس اليوسف، وضيف في اليوم معانا إن شاء الله راح تسمعون منه. تم قبول أول طالب سعودي. بعدها ولله الحمد في 2020 تم قبول طالب آخر من موهبة من برنامج التميز، إبراهيم الكريع. لو نشوف الشريحة اللي بعدها برضو فيها أمثلة متعددة على القبولات اللي يحصل عليها الطالب، وفي طلاب مجموعة من الطلاب ما يحصل على قبول واحد، إنما يحصل ممكن على من 3 إلى 6 قبولات. فإن شاء الله الجميع يحصل على هذه الفرصة. ونشوف قدامنا هنا أداء الطلبة في البرنامج. البرنامج ما شاء الله كل سنة يحقق نسب عالية جدا من الطلاب اللي يحصلون فيه على قبول، ونلاحظ السنة الأخيرة كان هناك في يعني نسبة قبول الطلاب ممتازة جدا، وصلت إلى 93% من الطلاب اللي شاركوا معنا وأتموا البرنامج وقدموا على الجامعات حصلوا على القبول اللي يحلمون فيه، وإن شاء الله الجميع يحصل على ما يحلم ويعمل من أجله. طيب الآن الطالب لما يحصل على القبول إحنا علينا أن إحنا بإذن الله راح نرشح الطالب إلى جهات الابتعاث الشريكة لموهبة. طبعا هذا الترشيح لا يعني القبول النهائي، الطالب لازم يكون مستوفي جميع شروط الجهة اللي حطتها إذا إنه يقبل الطالب وياخذ مقعد الابتعاث هذا، فلازم كل طالب يعرف الجهة هذه إيش شروطها. في جهات تطلب القدرات التحصيلي، وفي متطلبات أخرى. كل هذه المعلومات مثل ما هي الجامعات المستهدفة، ما هي التخصصات المستهدفة، كل هذه المعلومات راح إن شاء الله تحصلون عليها خلال البرنامج، لأنكم بادين من البداية والمعلومات كلها متوفرة لكم، فيكون إن شاء الله التخطيط ناجح بإذن الله تعالى. الآن راح تكون معكم بإذن الله زميلتي الأستاذة فاتن توين مشرفة البرنامج، راح بس تعطيكم كذا بشكل سريع ما هي مسؤوليات الطالب في البرنامج، وشكرا لاستماعكم.
السلام عليكم. راح أتكلم لكم الآن عن مسؤوليات الطالب في البرنامج. البرنامج يتطلب توفر عدة عناصر ليتمكن الطالب من الوصول إلى النتائج المبهرة. مثل ما شفتوا قبل شوي قلنا أن الطلاب يحصلون على أكثر من قبول، أحيانا 6-7 قبولات في جامعات يحلمون الطلاب في أنهم يحصلون فيها على حتى قبول ويت ليست. فإحنا في البرنامج صممنا الخدمات علشان نساعد الطالب للوصول إلى الهدف، لكن أهم عنصر لنجاح الطالب في البرنامج ووصوله إلى الهدف هو الطالب نفسه. لابد أن يكون الطالب عنده التزام وشغف وجدية علشان يتمكن من الوصول للهدف. البرنامج مدته عام كامل، أطول برنامج في موهبة، ما هو أسبوعين ولا 3 ولا شهر ولا شهرين. فالطالب قد يكون متحمس في البداية ويفقد الحماس في الوسط، يكون يعني ضيع شغله كله اللي سواه في بداية البرنامج. لابد أنه يكون ملتزم، لابد أنه ينفذ المتطلبات والمسؤوليات اللي عليه. إحنا راح نعطيه الجايد لاينز، إحنا راح نعطيه خارطة الطريق، راح نكون معه along the way، نرشده، نوجهه، ندله لحد إن شاء الله ما يوصل إلى الهدف. لكن هو عليه مسؤوليات، يعني بدون جهده هو، بدون ما يعطي 100% effort للمسؤوليات اللي احنا محددينها له من البداية علشان يكون موجود معاه التصور من البداية، ما حيقدر يوصل. يعني الآن احنا حاطين لكم بالشريحة هذه مثل المايلستونز الكبيرة اللي هي من أهمها تفرغ لحضور الورش التدريبية اللي عددها 2، الأولى في نوفمبر والثانية في أغسطس. لابد من حضورها، هذا شرط ومتطلب أساسي لقبول الطالب في البرنامج أساساً. يعني هي البيجست مايلستونز. ما بين هذه الورشتين لابد أنه يلتزم بحضور الجلسات الاستشارية الفردية ال1-on-1 sessions، على أساس أنه ياخذ الجايدنس الفردي اللي هو مخصص له هو، مو للجروب اللي مشترك معاه في البرنامج. فهذه individual sessions حيستفيد منها كثير في تطوير مهاراته، في العمل على نقاط الضعف عنده وتقويتها. لابد أنه يلتزم بالاختبارات المطلوبة منه. إذا هو ماخذ درجة 1000 في السات حيضطر أنه يعيد السات أكثر من مرة لحد ما يوصل للدرجة اللي يحددها البرنامج، اللي هي تعتبر الدرجة الدنيا المطلوبة من الجامعات. لابد أنه يعمل على الإكسترا كوريكولر أكتيفيتيز، راح يكون معاه الأدفايزرز يعطونا أيدياز، يحاولون يطورون معاه ملف الإنجاز، لكن هو لازم هو اللي يعمل، هو اللي يوثق، على أساس أنه يكون فعلا مميز وقت التقديم على الجامعات. وفي الأخير طبعا هو يفترض أنه يقدم على ما لا يقل عن 10 جامعات إلى 20 جامعة أمريكية مرموقة. وآخر شيء لابد أنه يكون متواصل معنا، فعال، يرد على الإيميلات، يرد على الرسائل، يرد على السيرفيز اللي نرسلها. فكل ما كان الطالب متفاعل أكثر كل ما كان فرصة نجاحه أكبر. الآن إحنا راح ننتقل لواحد من النماذج الناجحة معانا اللي هو الطالب فارس اليوسف، اللي عنده قبول في جامعة هارفارد، ليتحدث لكم عن تجربته وكيف وصل إلى جامعة هارفارد. تفضل يا فارس.
السلام عليكم جميعا. I'd like to touch upon how my experience with التميز program eventually led to my successful application to Harvard. And I think التميز really prepared me well for the components of a successful application, which I think are most important, which are the academic component, the extracurricular component, building a holistic extracurricular portfolio, and then it is, I think, maybe the most important place for people to get guidance is the essay writing. And so to take a look at the academic, I guess, aspect of it, التميز has workshops whereby they would train students in developing their skills at taking the SAT program, both on the SAT Math and the SAT English section, as well as other standardized tests such as the TOEFL, or IELTS, which are required for admission to US universities. And with that, I think I could move on to the extracurricular aspect of it. I think where guidance really matters most, because the academic side can be mostly self-driven, where students can, utilize the many online resources that are available. But with extracurriculars, it's more of a tailored thing, and so you do need advisors who can, advise you as an individual person rather than as a general student. And so, in terms of extracurriculars, there is access to a wide range of guidance counselors who will frequently brainstorm with you ideas for things to do, assist you in how to execute them, assist you in the choice of extracurriculars so that you can build a more holistic story. And fundamentally, that there are advisors who have seen successful applications and who do know the difference between, what works and what doesn't. And so having that type of guidance when building your portfolio can be crucial, because students have max 2 years to develop this entire portfolio from the program's beginning. And so stalling can often lead to, wasted time, and it wouldn't lead to the best possible outcome in terms of a extracurricular portfolio. And then, which I think is the most important aspect of Tamiz, at least in my experience, is the guidance with essays. Because the essays are really how you tie together your academics and your extracurriculars, and fundamentally you're conveying your story. You're building a narrative as to why the college or the university should be admitting you. And so with this, it's a completely personalized type of thing. You cannot make a generic essay because that would simply not work. You do need the unique aspect of it. And so having tailor-fit guidance based on your own experiences, based on your own achievements, based on your own goals from these advisors who, as I mentioned earlier, have seen the successful essays is definitely crucial. And so with that, I do think that the multiple essay workshops that Tamiz holds, as well as the extracurricular and academic workshop, do end up being quite influential. At least in my case, I remember when, I believe it was August 2019, when I attended the essay workshop for Tamiz in Riyadh. And at that point, I had no idea how I was going to start my essay. I mean, of course, there's a world of things to talk about. How am I supposed to write my life story? And the thing is, yes, you are. But you're not supposed to talk about every single detail. You're supposed to take a facet of it or an aspect, which really, I think, draws a complete picture, even though it doesn't cover every single detail of your life. And so with that, I started with one essay and I received feedback on it. I probably completely tore it down and started fresh. And it was through that trial and error and refining and guidance that I was able to build a holistic application. And so here's where I think the true value of Tamiz lies. It's this personalized type of advice and guidance. But if we look at the complete polar opposite direction as things that aren't maybe so personalized, there are also lots of benefits to that as well. I mean, things such as logistics, timeline, making sure you check up all the requirements to a successful college application. I mean, at least at the time when I started with Tamiz, these things weren't all very clear to me. And so having them laid out and presented in a way that's tailored to students who want to really shoot for the highest possible university, I think is amazing, because it takes away lots of the logistical or administrative work that you may have to worry about and presents it right in front of you. And then you could actually focus on the high impact things such as academics, extracurriculars, and essays.
Perfect. Thank you, Faris. I think that next we will have Yumna. Is Yumna around? We'll have opportunity for Q&A as well at the end. I'm trying to answer some questions in the chat room as well, and people are still getting admitted, so it's good. Yumna, are you around? Okay, so we're waiting for another student. I thought she was here. Yumna, if you can hear us, if you can. Yumna, can you unmute?
Okay, I think I'm unmuted now.
Yes, go ahead. So Yumna, just to introduce her, is at Columbia, another Tamiz student. So if you can talk a little bit about your experience.
Yes, I can do that. So I'm from Jamiat. So my name is Yumna, and I'm a junior at Columbia University right now. I joined Tamiz when I was a junior in high school, so that was 11th grade for me. I know that they do it earlier now, so you might be able to join in 10th grade, I believe. And I'm going to be talking about how Tamiz helped me with my college application experience and the things that you can get from Tamiz in general, and how you can apply to a top school in the US. So I think one of the best things I learned from Tamiz is that the application process can be a little ambiguous sometimes, especially for international students. You might not know what it is exactly that is needed from you, and you might not know how the process goes. And so Tamiz really just does all of that for you. They tell you everything. They tell you the whole process step by step, and they walk with you for a year or almost 2 years until you complete your entire application and get to the university of your choice, or hopefully one of the universities of your choice. The first step is to understand what standardized tests you need to get into a top university. So the SAT is an important test that you're going to need. Tamiz will help you prep for the SAT. They will give you resources. They will have boot camps. So those are all things that you have access to that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. once you have your good SAT scores, and even if you don't get good SAT scores, they'll help you retake it as many times as you'd like until you get the necessary score. So aside from that, you're also going to need English proficiency tests. So either the TOEFL or IELTS will be required to get in unless you're a US citizen. So as an international student, you're going to have to take one of those and get, there's like a minimum score that's required that you're going to have to get. Now, another really important component is your extracurriculars and your essays. Those are all things that Tamiz will help you with as well. So for extracurriculars, you will get guidance on how exactly you can frame them in your application to stand out. Because everyone who's applying to top schools has great extracurriculars. So it's really important that you have things that stand out, but are also unique to you and can get you, like, can show that you're passionate about things and that you are a student who is deserving of a place in a top university. Now for essays, it's not just writing down, listing all of your achievements or just talking about yourself generally. It's more than that. It's how it's
So I think that maybe we lost her. All right, so I think we lost the connection. So we'll reach out to her. In the meantime, we'll switch to Mohammed Al-Harthi. Mohammed, are you there? Mohammed.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We lost Yumna. We'll try and get a hold of her. But in the meantime, why don't you introduce yourself and talk about your experience and your, especially educational background from the kind of school that will inspire the students. And then after that, we have Besma, and then I'll start the presentation. But go ahead.
Surely. So assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope you're doing well. My name is Mohammed Al-Harthi, and I'm a Tamiz alumnus. I'm the student at UCLA, which is considered one of the world's best universities. Well, I came to Tamiz with a different background. I was an Adabi student, so I did not actually study mathematics or science, which are essential subjects for students in high school, traditionally in school. I remember really on the first day of Tamiz program when I came to Dr. Waasif and told him, well, I'm an Adabi student. I actually do not study mathematics or science in school. He was pretty surprised. And I was actually afraid that he would tell me to opt out of the program because not studying mathematics or science is actually a thing that universities, let alone best universities, won't want in their student. But what he actually did is that he advised me to email all universities I'm interested in. So basically 40 universities or 30 universities, which is a pretty large number. But there are universities that are prestigious, and I really wanted to go there. I had the passion to attend these universities. So what I did is that I emailed each university saying that I'm a student that follows an unorthodox schooling system that does not include mathematics or science, and that I focus on religious subjects. And that I am interested in going to their university. So to know what's their position in me applying to them and what they would consider a good thing in a student who doesn't study mathematics or science. And I was surprised with their answers. They all said that I'm eligible for their admissions process, that I can apply to their universities with nothing that would stop me from getting in. So I would be just like any other student. And there lies a pretty precious thing about the Tamiz program. It's that experienced guidance the student gets. Through your time at Tamiz program, you're going to get access to experts in the U.S. University's college admissions process. They're even knowledgeable, and that's a good thing, about Saudi high schools and the many obstacles that would face a typical Saudi student in their journey to getting into a world top university. Now, in my case, I started self-learning, and I was able to catch up with the math and English required for a high score in the SAT. And here I am ultimately pursuing a degree at the University of California, Los Angeles. I'm here to tell you that no matter how underprivileged or privileged your educational background is, you are going to be able to reach to your goal. No, English was not something I'm adept at. No, I actually haven't studied mathematics traditionally in school, but with persistence and with using the right resources and along with the guidance of the Tamiz program, I received a really high score in the SAT and attained a math score that ranks in the top 1% around the world. As Dr. Wassif always say, it's not easy, but it's doable. If you ask me about the Tamiz program, I'd probably tell you that the most important and crucial thing in it is that asset of having the great community of Tamizis. You will be in a room with the top students in the country. You'll be there to help each other through the process, which you're all going to be going through. And historically, Tamiz students, with their interactions with each other, created activities, organizations, and even businesses, which started just as a part of their college admissions applications, but ultimately ended up contributing even beyond the admissions process, not just to their future careers, but also to the whole youth scene in Saudi Arabia. The admissions journey is complicated and it's tough, but the Tamiz program is here to help you through the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed, for the gracious comments. We appreciate all your efforts and glad to see you at UCLA. So we'll have one more student, Al-Faiz, who's at Berkeley. And then after Basma, I will make some introductory remarks about the program, especially what US universities are looking for, and then we can open it up to Q&A. I know there's a lot of questions that are coming in. Basma, are you around? Basma, can you hear us? Okay, so start, please.
Hello, my name is Basma Faiz. I'm a student at UC Berkeley with the intended major of molecular and cell biology. I was part of the class of 2021, or the class that joined last year, or this year, earlier in the year, at the end of 11th grade and continued on into all of 12th grade. Sorry, the class of 2020. So some other colleges that I got into include UC Irvine, UC Davis, UC San Diego, and I got waitlisted at universities like UCSB and UCLA, and got into other universities like the University of Washington and more. Tamiz primarily helped me with writing my essays and SAT prep. And one of the biggest things that Tamiz has helped me with was raise my SAT score and encouraging me to take the exam as many times as I need and reach out for as many resources as I can get, as it provided me with so many helpful resources to improve my score in both SAT English and SAT Math. And if I did need extra help, I knew that there were people that I could rely on to help me, no matter what my questions were or what areas I struggled in. So Tamiz primarily acted as a support system and helped me gain a lot of resources and help with improving my scores and improving my application, whether that was with my SAT scores or with my essays that I had to write. So yeah, I was helped a lot by the Tamiz program, primarily in my essay writing, as I've had my essays edited and checked by people who knew the college application process very well and knew the topic of essay writing and college application essays very well, and were very helpful in helping me improve my applications and my essays to better fit the university that I was applying to and the general essays that I had to write. So yeah.
Thank you, Besma. Appreciate it. Glad to see you're enjoying Berkeley, new life. So we have all the students here. So I'm going to screen to do a quick walkthrough on Tmayyiz as a program. Can everybody see my screen? Yes? I think a thumbs up would do. All right, perfect, excellent. So I'm going to walk everyone through. My name is Dr. Waasif Sayyid, and we are long-term partners of موهبة here in Washington, D.C. And we've been working with Mohiba on launching the Tmayyiz program. So in the interest, I want everyone to kind of better understand what the Tmayyiz program is from a philosophical standpoint, as well as share with you some broad overview of what the program entails in terms of developing yourself for top universities in the US. And then after that, we will open the floor to questions just for us, but for the students as well. And I'll give everybody an opportunity. And so for questions, I ask everyone to raise their hands, and then I will call upon different individuals as we proceed. All right, so as Ms. Adwa and Ms. Fatin had eloquently described earlier, the program has many different components. Our collective objective is to develop students for top universities. It's not just an academic program. It has extracurricular development, personal and professional development. We're trying to create the next generation and position you for top universities in the US. This is the approximate breakdown of the program in terms of the schedule. So we have 2 workshops that occur in Riyadh. Now, you don't have to be based, you would travel to Riyadh. The first one will occur in November, December. The second one next year. The program in its entirety is online. Application assistance is also online, so you can be anywhere in the world for that. The most important element of the program is mindset. So we focus on nurturing your mindset to prepare you for not just top universities, but prepare you to understand, tackle different challenges in life. And that's a critical component, because if we're talking about personal growth, which is how do you take somebody from point A to point B in the program? How do you, when you come into the program, you have certain preconceived notions of who you are as a person. Our job is to change that, to help you develop and grow as a person, to help you become confident, so that you can in the future succeed, not just in the college application process, but succeed in life. So, and Muhammad had mentioned this in his brief remarks, which were community. And that's very important. At the heart of Tmayyiz is a community. So you've had to hear from 4 amazing students today as the current students in our program. And that's one of the greatest assets. It's not just the Mohiba and IB Strategy Advisor team, but it's also the student, because peer-to-peer mentorship, meaning you being able to get advice, input, share experiences with your community, is one of the most attractive elements of the program. And so with that, the kind of characteristics that we look for in successful students are some of these things. So we want students who are engaged. We want students who are really, really curious about the world, who want to take initiative. We focus on solutions, not problems. We want students that are really going to focus on, how do I go from this point A to point B in launching an idea? And why that's important, we'll talk about when we talk about the college process in a bit. All right, so let's talk a little bit about when we're looking at the college admissions process in the US, what does that mean? What does it mean to get into university? What are they looking for? So the first most important thing is your story. Unlike a lot of other universities that focus only on your academics. So what did you get in high school, right? In Awal Thanawiyya, Thani Thanawiyya, Thalith Thanawiyya. US colleges, especially the top universities, are looking for, what is this person's story? Who are they? What is their identity? What are their passions? And so when I'm talking about top universities, you saw from Ms. Adwa's presentation, some of these students talking about schools. And then in addition to that, we're talking about other top schools. And this is just a few of them, right? So we're talking about literally top universities in the world. That's what Tmayyiz is about, right? And so here's an example of, let's say, what we would be classified as a good in Saudi, right? Let's say a student has 100% in high school, right? This is your high school grades, right? They have 100% in Qudrat, right? Their SAT score is low because they focused more on Qudrat. They don't have extracurricular activities, which I'll talk about in a second. The question then becomes is, with this student being the top student in the class, where would they get accepted if they were to apply to a university in the US, a top university, like the Ivy League, a Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Cornell, Columbia, Dartmouth, UPenn, Brown, or an MIT, Stanford? And the answer is that this student actually rejected from all top universities in the US. And the reason for that is, other than academics, other than having 100% in school, they have nothing else to offer. They don't have an extracurricular. They don't have activities on a consistent basis that show what is their capacity to contribute to a class. So having 100% in school, 100 only without means nothing. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to distribution. You have students at the top, you see at the bottom, and you see students in the middle. What Tmayyiz is trying to do is Tmayyiz is trying to improve your capacity extracurricularly and academically to become a better version of yourself. So we want people to go from here to the top. That's what we're doing. Now, why is this important? It's important because admission to the top schools, like Ivy League schools, is extremely competitive. So if you look at the acceptances from this past year, just using Harvard as an example, and Ms. Adwa had mentioned that, Faaris was the first Saudi student from a Saudi high school in 10 years from Saudi to get in. And that was in 2019, 2020. And now this year we have the second one from Tmayyiz getting in. And they're the only students from Saudi that got into Harvard, as an example. Out of 57,000 applicants, only less than 2,000 got in. And there was only one Saudi, right? So it's extremely competitive, right? In Yumna's year, she was at Columbia, there were only 2 Saudis that got into Columbia, as an example. So you have admission to top universities that is extremely competitive. And the same thing with the UCs, the UC Berkeley's, the UCLA's. Because they're public universities, strong mandate for California residents, the number of students that get in is a very small number. And during COVID, the numbers increased, the number of applications. So how do you stand out in this process? Well, let's take an example. This is Farah. Farah is a top student. She wants to go to Harvard. At Harvard. Mark is going to go through thousands of applications when you apply to the admissions process, right? When you apply to Harvard. So Mark has to make sure that everybody that he evaluates is looked at with an objective lens, and then he will decide who gets in. Mark will have about 10 to 15 minutes to look at Farah's application. In that 10 to 15 minute window, he has to decide whether to accept or reject or put Farah in the waitlist pile. So if you think about it, that's a very, very competitive metric, right? You're talking about taking somebody whose life they're looking at over a 3.5-year period, because the college clock in the US starts in 9th grade. So everything that you did from Thalith Thanawiyya, 9th grade, counts. It's your college application. So the US admissions process is holistic. What that means is it doesn't only look at scores. It's not only about SAT. It's not only about academics, meaning your school grades. It's extracurriculars, it's community contribution, recommendation teachers and counselors. It's your essays, which form a very important part of the application process. And so top universities in the US are looking for reasons to accept you, not reject you. And those reasons are not just about your academics. It's your character, your leadership, your involvement in the community, your intellectual potential, who you are as a person. what it's helping develop you holistically. And in Saudi high schools, whether you go to a private school or public school, whether you're studying in Saudi or outside of Saudi, this process coaching. Just like Messi and Ronaldo are the best football players in the world, they have a coach. And that is what Tamiz is doing. It's helping develop your portfolio. And what is your portfolio? Your portfolio is this. When you apply to university and you apply in the US in the fall semester, meaning the first semester of Thalith Thanawiyya in grade 12, you do not apply at the end of Thalith Thanawiyya. You apply during the first semester. They're looking at your academics, your SAT score, your GPA, your extracurricular activities, your summer experiences, essays, recommendation, interview. They're looking at the entire journey to determine how competitive you are. And so let me now take a few minutes to talk about extracurriculars. We do not mean summer activities when we're talking about extracurriculars only. Summer activities are great if you went to a summer program, or you did SRSI, or you did some summer program online. Excellent. When we are talking about extracurricular activities, we are talking about the activities during the academic year. Meaning, while you are in Thani Thanawiyya, which is when you apply to Tamiz, we also have a program for grade 10 students. It's Abu Thanawiyya. Thani Thanawiyya in grade 11. What are the activities you are going to do every week? During school, after school? Because that is when you are with other students in your community. They want to see, how do you contribute? What club do you create, right? And the reason this is important is in the application, when you apply, they ask you in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, how many hours a week and how many weeks per year did you spend developing an extracurricular activity? Are you the president of a debate club? And the number one thing people say is, my school doesn't have clubs. Well, that's fine. Doesn't matter if school have clubs. You will be creating clubs yourself. You will have a community in your school, outside of your school, 3 years that will help you launch clubs. That's the whole point. So with that, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail other than to say that, we have had some incredible acceptances to top universities in Tamiz. We have had students getting into top universities like the Ivy League and Stanford every single year since Tamiz started more than 7 years ago. And we already went through a lot of examples. We've had, media recognition. Obviously, we already talked. We saw Fارس and Ibrahim. Is another student that got into Harvard. We had Arab News covered the موهبة Tamiz program in an article. We had the US Embassy come to our program to give a talk. They did a Twitter feed on us. So that get top universities every single year. And I'm not going to go through all of the different examples here because there's too many, right? What I'm going to conclude on is the following. I'm going to say two things. I'm going to say, number one, we apply to universities directly from high school. This is without the foundation year. No sana tahdiriya. There are scholarships available through our partners. There are no guaranteed scholarships, but we have partnerships with KGSP and Aramco. And of course, there's also the Wizard Ta'aleem scholarship for humanities and social sciences. We apply, and these results from high school without foundation year. You do not need. And so we use a holistic approach to develop students that relies on this three-dimensional model. We develop your leadership capacity. We help you grow. We provide you the mentorship. And we help you position you for top universities in the US. And with that, we will now open the floor to questions. And so what I'm going to do now is, obviously, I first want to thank موهبة and the students for their time. We have a healthy crowd with us. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call upon different names and ask people to ask a question. And the first person, and keep your question short, to the point, so that obviously we have a lot of questions, and either myself, Mohiba team, and the students can answer that. So we'll start with Abdullah Saud. So Abdullah Saud, can you ask your question, please? I don't know if you can unmute yourself. Can you? Okay. So I don't hear Abdullah say. All right. So let me see if I can talk to that. Abdulaziz Al-Anizi. Can you unmute? Oh, you can't unmute. Okay.
Yeah, I can mute now. Can you
Okay,
hear me?
okay, perfect. Yes. Who is this? Abdulaziz or Abdullah?
Abdulaziz.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Abdulaziz. Ask him.
Well, I've actually had this question for a while now since I'm in many programs like this. My current
Yes.
SAT score, the one that I kind of about 2 months ago that I have been taking for a while, it was
Yeah.
around 1,220.
Yeah.
How much time will it take for me to be able to get a full score from, like, since I started studying around 2 months ago? Do you think I'll be able to get a score in a while, like a few months?
So first of all, the SAT is a marathon run, right? And what I mean by that is it takes a lot of hard work, preparation. Of course, we have the boot camp in November where you will top-notch instruction from professional SAT instructors on our team that will teach you how to improve the SAT. And all of the students here that you heard from today, you know, Asma, Yumna, Faris, and Muhammad, they had to work extremely hard to get a high score. It's not about 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. It's hustle. You have our help, of course, inshallah, you will succeed. But it's a very individual question, right? Because every person is, so you have to first use the resources available to you. Once you're in the program, we can help you. And inshallah, through hard work, you will improve. Abdurrahman, Khalid, if you are there, please ask your question.
Yep, I'm there.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Well, Mr. I just want to ask one question.
Yeah.
When are we going to develop ourselves, and because you know the Tamiz program is opening from is it a few days ago, and it's ending on October, I think, like
correct.
The 11th
correct.
or 12th.
Correct.
So there is no time
for what?
I can sign in and write my information and everything, but I don't see where the where everything.
Maybe I can help you, because I think I understand the question. So the way it works is you will submit your application through the Mohiba website, the Tamiz program website, and the link shared in chat. Ms. Adwa shared the link to apply. Now, this is the registration period between September and October. Then, based on your application, some students will be invited for an interview. And after the interview, you will be notified if you're accepted. If you're accepted into the program, inshallah, will start in November. So all you have to do right now, if students are in Thani Thanawi, is you just have to apply. The rest of it will become once you start. For now, you just need to apply. The program lasts from November through next December of next year. So a year and a half program, right? Almost 2 years, in fact, because the decisions from universities come the following spring in 2023. Ahmed Khalid al-Shahri, please ask your question. And then the messages from Sheikha, we'll go to Sheikha afterwards. So first, can you unmute yourself? Did you hear what I said? No? All right. So, Osali, can you please ask your question? You have to unmute yourself. Okay, all right. We'll have to go to the next one. You have to raise your hand and unmute when I call your Abdullah Al-Halwan. Abdullah.
Yes, hello, Mr.
Go ahead.
Yes, I want to ask if I could take the SAT quiz on the September the 2nd and still make it. And what exams do I need other than the SAT? to apply?
The next SAT, you mean October 2nd. So
October 2nd, yes.
you can take the SAT in October and just in your application mention that you register for October and submit the results as they're available. But in the meantime, you can apply with your IELTS or TOEFL score. So you can apply with whatever you have and mention that you're taking the SAT in October.
Okay. Do I need to apply for IELTS and TOEFL, or is that enough?
You can apply just with SAT. You don't have to have TOEFL or IELTS. If you think you're going to get the score that we need, then you can apply.
So if I get the like score above 1,000, then am I accepted?
The acceptance is not based just on the score. You have to apply. There's an interview, and then there's many different factors that go into the process, right? You have to apply. That's the thing. You have to try and apply.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So Sheikh Al-Dosari is trying to unmute herself, but she's not able to, and I can't. So let me see if I can. Okay, there we go. Let's see if I can do this. I just asked you to unmute yourself, Sheikh. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Yes. Ask your question. Go ahead.
Yes. In the application for Tamiz, they asked for inventions and scientific research. And I have none of those. Is it mandatory or can I just put none?
It's not mandatory. The application just allows you. And just as an FYI, if the people who are comfortable, if you can camera, then I can see who I'm talking to. It'll be easier. All right. Next question is, and thank you for your question, Sheikh. So next question is from Yasser Al-Aham. Can you please unmute yourself? And by the way, you can ask questions to the students as well. So if you have a question for the students, some of them are still around. So yes, Yasser.
Well then, I have 2 questions here.
Yeah.
The first one, I have took the SAT test on the August of 26.
Okay.
When do I get my score?
The August results are already. You have to log into your College Board account online on the College Board website, and you will be able to see your score there.
The problem is I did, but it didn't show up yet. Is it like a time delay?
You have to call College Board. So we don't know the individual reason why your score is not. That's a question for College Board, right? So you have to call the College Board in the US. The customer service phone number is on their website and ask them.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Second question: if I got accepted into a university, a US university, can I delay my travel or something like that later on, so I can study in the Saudi Arabia first, then go to the American college?
So the answer is very simple. If you get accepted and you want to defer your start date for a year, the first thing is the university decides if you can defer or not. So the answer is it depends on the university and what your reasons are. Talking about study, if you want to study in Saudi, if you want to study in a Saudi university first, the answer is no. You cannot study in a Saudi university then transfer. If you mean you want to do a foundation year first, well, then the question would be, why do you want to do a foundation year when you already got into the US university? But again, every university decides whether they allow you to defer. It's not your right, meaning it's not your haq. The university will decide. And in some cases, they are okay with it if you are doing something constructive. Let's say if you're doing an internship somewhere. But if you just want to take a time off to study in foundation year, the chances are they probably will not agree. They will tell you your acceptance will be canceled and you have to apply again.
Okay.
All right. So next, thank you for your question. Next question is Turki Al-Hargan. Let me ask you to unmute. If you want to ask a question, the best way is to raise your hand. I can see all of the hands, so I'm in order. So that's the best way. Turki, can you ask your question, please?
Yes. So if I took the SAT and I didn't get the score that SAT or the Tamiz tells us, but I did good in the interview, so I could join, right?
Yes, I mean, you have to, you didn't do well, I would do TOEFL or IELTS and submit that score, right?
Yes, I did the SAT and I did the IELTS.
Good. So you submit it, and then we at all of the applications, and then we will invite some of the students for interviews, and then basically we'll decide. So my advice to everyone is to do your best and apply, because if you don't apply, we don't know your application, right? Maybe in the interview, inshallah, you'll be amazing and no problem, right? But you have to apply, is my point. Do the SAT. If you don't do well on the SAT, do the TOEFL or IELTS, submit that score. Whatever you can do, do it. Because the main thing is for you to submit your applications. And again, the link to apply is, you can of course contact us, we can send it to you, but the link to apply is in the Zoom chat link that was just shared. So my advice is apply. Don't delay, apply sooner than later. Thank you for your question. Next question, Anas al-Muteri. Anas, please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, Anas, tell me.
My question, first of all, I'm in 10th grade. So I'm still trying to figure out if this meeting is for 10th grade or 11th grade.
This meeting is for both, but of course the application process for Tamiz is for 11th grade, but there are other programs available for 10th grade students.
Yes,
and
I wanted to ask.
Yes. So for those programs, if you contact and you can also email the Tamiz program, and I will share the email. We can tell you what programs are available for Tamiz students that are in 10th or for future Tamiz students in 10th grade.
And I have another question.
Yes, tell me.
In my school, they are advising me to register in the MISC college prep. If I register and get accepted, what happens to this program? Because now I'm in.
So in Tamiz, our focus is Tamiz students. So if you are part of Tamiz, what you do outside of Tamiz is up to you, right? We don't have, Tamiz doesn't discriminate, right? We're focusing on, you're going to get the help from Tamiz if you are part of Tamiz. Outside of Tamiz, whatever you want, that is up to you. But in Tamiz, the main thing is that if you want into Tamiz, you have to fulfill the Tamiz requirements, and you have to apply to Tamiz through our process. That's how it works. And so you apply to whatever programs that are available here to us, like the Tamiz for grade 10, we have an SAT program available for students. For grade 11 students, it's the main program that we talked about today for college preparation and leadership development, and that you apply in Thani Thanawi in grade 11. Okay, next question is from Nangam. Are you there? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I have a question. Now I'm in grade 11. Okay. And in grade
you're grade 11. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes, but there's a lot of noise in the background.
Yeah, I'm sorry because I'm in the car.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. I'm in grade 11 and in grade 10 I got 99 at school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at موهبة I got 700 and something.
Yeah.
In grade 6, and last year I got 1,152.
Okay.
So are these good to enter or no?
I mean, of course they're good, but you have to apply with the SAT or TOEFL and IELTS.
Okay. So the SAT.
Yeah.
About the SAT, am I supposed to apply this year or I can wait for next year?
You just told me that you're in grade 11, right?
Yeah.
If you're in grade 11, you have to apply this year. Otherwise, you cannot join Tamiz afterwards. Tamiz starts in Thani Thanawiya in grade 11.
Okay.
So you need to apply now before October deadline. And if you don't have TOEFL or IELTS, you can do that. If you're able to do the SAT in October, you should do that. You must have one of those tests in addition to your high school grades. That you cannot get accepted unless you also have TOEFL or IELTS or SAT or both.
Okay, thank you.
Makes sense? You're welcome. Al-Mutawwa, please.
Hi, I just wanted to ask what you would consider a solid SAT score.
Well,
Like
solid score for Tamiz purposes or for university purposes?
for university purposes.
University purposes, we target, of course, above 1400 in SAT. I mean, that's a minimum.
So, okay.
Because we're in the top league. We're not, the universities we're applying to are the best universities on earth, right? So the students that you saw today, all of them, mashallah, have amazing SAT scores, but they worked hard, they got help, and they're there now. You're not going to start at 1400, right? You have to get there. It's going to take time, of course, through the program.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Maria Johani, please ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, I joined the preparation for Tamiz program previously.
Yeah.
And does that mean that I have to register for Tamiz this year? Or is that
you have
my choice?
Are you in grade 11 right now?
Yes.
Yes, so whatever you were doing before is great, but has nothing to do with this program. This program, every single student is going to be selected from scratch based on your portfolio and your background, your academics, your SAT score, or your TOEFL and IELTS score, and the interview, of course. So you need to apply to this program on the website.
Yeah, but so just because I joined the preparation for Tamiz program doesn't mean I have to join Tamiz program because of it.
No, I mean,
I want to register.
Join. Obviously, we would want you to apply, but what I'm saying is you have to apply. Automatically enrolled in you were part of the Tamiz prep program is what I'm saying. If you were part of the Tamiz prep program in grade 10 for SAT, it doesn't automatically enrolled in Tamiz. You have to apply to Tamiz is what I'm saying.
But if I can't or don't want to apply to Tamiz, I don't have to because
of course, it's a free world. It's up to you.
So Tamiz is completely separate from preparation for Tamiz.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Zahra Abdullah. Zahra, can you hear us? No? Okay. All right, we'll move on to the next person. The next person is Khalid El something. I can't see your full name. It's pre-07913. Khalid, can you ask your question? No? Okay. All right. So next we have Saad Al Abdullah.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to ask about the interval. I have read in the website, the interval, the time. I've read in the website that the Tamiz registration ends at October the 13th, right?
October,
13th.
Yes, correct.
And what Dirk mentioned that they also mentioned that I can do the SAT on October 20 to the 2nd. And the result will take a long time to go.
I'll tell you how that works. You can apply to the program before the registration date, and you can mention you took the October test. You can still be interviewed. You can still be interviewed, and when your score comes, you send the us, and then we can give you, if you're good, strong, you can be offered a conditional acceptance, and we wait to come in, provided you get a certain score.
I think it's not an exception because موهبة mentioned that at the website. Mentioned that I can take the September SAT and the October SAT.
Well, there's no September SAT. There's August. You can take August and you can take October. That is correct. That is correct.
28th August.
And correct.
So Mohiba mentioned that. So I can.
Yes, I know. No, I didn't say it was an exception. I just said I'm saying that you can do that. Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
But you have to. You have to apply. Is what I'm saying. You have to submit your application though.
I have IELTS also, but I want to ask you something that what did feature the essays that for the two students at Harvard?
What did
they make on the essays? Their essays and
this is I mean it's not the essay is individual based on each person's journey, right? So it's not just about Harvard. Every person, Faris and Ibrahim. First of all, there's more than one essay, but okay. Each of them captured important. right?
Okay.
Just because they talk a specific topic, that means you have to talk about the same topic. That's not how it works. I wouldn't worry too much about the essays right now. I would focus on getting into the program, because in the program, as all of the students mentioned today, you will get a lot of help on the application process. And we're talking, you know, from top-notch experts, you know, not just myself, there's a huge team that we have. And you will get all of the guidance that you need to get you in front of top universities. You just have to focus on preparing yourself, right? And of course, getting in. Okay. All right. Thank you for your question.
Can I ask you another question?
Please, yeah, go ahead. A quick one, yes.
Harvard have this huge reputation, but I think MIT is better, right?
Well,
from science,
I don't. Well, of course, if you're talking about science or engineering, that one could argue MIT and, you know, Stanford, Berkeley. You know, the best IB for engineering and science would be Cornell, right? But that really depends on. I think that at the end of the day, the way this process works is you apply to a lot of universities and you see what happens. Nobody just apply. You don't apply to only MIT and just wait and say, okay, something's going to happen. It doesn't work like this. Because the competition is so intense, you have to apply to a lot of universities, see what happens.
How many?
In التميز, we apply 20 to 25 universities easily.
Oh, okay.
Easily.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Adil is the next. Adil, can you unmute yourself, please, and ask a question? Adil, are you there? No? Okay, we're going to move on to the next person. Rima Kokandi, please.
There. Hello?
Sorry? Hi. Yes, this is Adil?
Yeah, this is Khaled.
Say again?
Hi, how are you? Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Adil, if you ask a question, then we'll go to Rima afterwards. Go ahead, Adil. Yes. What's your question?
Hello?
Yes. Yes.
I got 571 in QIAS.
Okay.
And 5 in IELTS.
Yeah.
And 850 in SAT.
How much in SAT?
850.
Okay.
So am I allowed to enter the program?
First of all, you know the minimum requirements are on the website. So your IELTS score and SAT score is too low. So what I recommend you do is you retake the IELTS, and if possible, retake the SAT. But if you could retake one thing sooner, I would retake the IELTS so that you can apply to Tamiz with an updated IELTS score. Because as of right now, your score is below the requirements, right?
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Rima, you're welcome. Rima Kokandi. Rima, are you there?
Excuse me, you unmute me just now. So can I give my piece?
Yes, please. Who is this? Rima?
Yeah, this is Khaled Alitay.
Okay,
I'm father of
okay, I see.
my son.
Yes, go ahead, Khaled. Yes, go ahead.
My son is trying to apply, and he got an SAT for more than 1,000. All the requirements are there, but I'm confused that it will take much of his time. It will take much for 45 hours of work during this semester and second semester. This could make him behind in his academic work, and he's in grade 11.
So let me ask you this question. Your son, what is your son's name?
Abdul, and he's grade 11.
Okay, so what high school does he go to?
He's going to Riyadh High School.
Riyadh School, okay. What is his objective and your objective in the future for university? What would you like? Type of university?
Equilibrium. It's like accumulative knowledge from the school and from the program. I'm worried that the program will take some of his classwork. So whatever he's gaining from the program, he might miss the 10% from his academic class. So the result will be the same. And one more thing, I'm not your time. One more thing. How can you make it like a discount or make it free for موهبة students? And one last thing, what is the outcome? If I'm working, if my son is working for like two semesters, can you make it segments? Is he working for 2 semesters or 3 semesters? And is he working and getting the program here in Riyadh, or does he get it outside to US or anything? So what am I paying for? Thank you.
Thank you for the detailed questions. So let me go back to a slide that I showed earlier, and let me know if you can't see it. Let me see where it is. All right, right here. So do you see that slide? Yes? Okay. So the program is a journey. It's what we call a learning journey. It starts in November and it goes through December of next year. The program is not the workshops in Riyadh or this meeting or that meeting. It's the whole journey in the community. So what you're paying for is the number one is that every single student in Tmayyiz gets individual mentorship. So he will have a coach, an advisor from our team who will work with him through 4 coaching sessions during the year. Plus, he will get assistance for applications in the fall of next year to apply to university. Plus, you have the 2 workshops that are the in-person engagement. So one is during the break, and one is in end of summer of next summer in August. And then in addition to that, there's the online group. So we have a group like WhatsApp on Telegram where students can communicate also with us and the advising team. There's also online resources that we've created for the program on Coursera. So it's like online courses. All of this combined together is what Tmayyiz is offering. That's the first thing. Now, more than that, Tmayyiz is offering expertise to help develop your son's capacity to be able to compete at the top level. Because getting into a top university is not easy. Now, to answer your question about you're worried about the time commitment from Tmayyiz taking away from academics, all of those students that you saw today, Faaris, Yumna, Muhammad, as he mentioned, came from Adabi school. All of those students successfully not just balanced academics in school, balanced Tmayyiz and extracurriculars and got into top universities in the world. So if they can do it, I don't see any reason why your son can't do it. It's a balancing act. To use another football example, it's not easy to win the Champions League. You have to train. Nobody gives the Champions League trophy, if you're familiar with the tournament, for free. So at the end of the day, it's a process. And the process doesn't have guarantees. What is guaranteed is by the end of Tmayyiz, he will inshallah be a different version, what we call a. And that's what this process is. It's a balancing act. We talk about work-life balance, in the program. So I'm not really worried about the program taking time away from his academics, because we have hundreds of students that have successfully done it. And if he's, alhamdulillah, a smart guy, he is going to figure out, to use your word, an equilibrium that works with him. But this process is necessary if he wants to compete to get into a top university, because the competition is extremely intense, as I mentioned earlier. Abdulaziz Al-Ahmadi, first Rima Al-Kokandi, because Rima, I think,
Dr. Wassef, sorry for interrupting, but if you may please share the screen with Mohiba's information, the contact email, the website.
Yes, of course. Yes, definitely.
So people can send emails with their inquiries if we don't get a chance to answer them.
So let me change this here right now and put it here. So this is the email address for the program. And you can contact the Tmayyiz team with any questions at any time. So Rima Kokandi, are you there? Okay. Abdulaziz Ahmadi, please.
Yes, so.
Yes, go ahead.
I have 2 questions. First, one question was already asked, but you didn't answer it fully. So what is a good SAT score for the Tmayyiz, not for the colleges?
I mean, it's on the website that's shared, but you want to get above 1,000, right? I mean, above
but
1,000,
what's like a
1,100.
solid score, not the minimum.
I think that first of all, you don't have a choice because you only have October left, right? So
yeah, I already took my test. Yeah.
And so what did you get?
I got 1290.
Yeah, so I don't think that you need to worry or lose sleep. I think that you should now, right? You should apply and focus on doing well, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other question is, what's the like average increase in the SAT score, like throughout the
average
program?
Increase throughout the program? I mean, the average is somewhere around 250 points. We've had increases as much as 350 points. I would say most people that are on the lower end improve by at least 100 and 150 points. So you know, we've had people that go from hundreds to 1,500 plus, right? So again, it's not just about the program, because you also have to put in hard work, right? You understand? That's the important part I want to emphasize. Messi, if you follow football, doesn't just score goals on the pitch. He's training 8 hours a day to understand this concept, right? So the training has to be done as well from your side. It's not just camp on SAT and there we go. Come. You know, you can ask Faris, if he's still around, how much he worked and how hard he worked on the SAT, right? It takes effort, so, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Welcome. Adel Helbiya, are you there? Yes?
Here.
Go ahead, Ahmed. Adel.
I am glad, teacher, to be with you in this webinar. And I want to ask you about non-Saudis students.
Yeah.
Because actually, maybe some students, they don't want to go to outside, to go abroad. So why you don't make a program for going to prestigious universities in Saudi?
The simple reason is to get into top universities in Saudi is much, much easier into Ivy League schools.
But actually, it is still hard for non-Saudis students.
Yeah, so I think that, I mean, the Saudi universities, they have a quota for non-Saudis, right? Just like the US universities have a quota for international students, right? So our mandate here in the program is that we focus on the top universities in the world. And the top universities in the world are the Ivy League, MIT, and Stanford, and a few others. There's no competition. A university in Saudi is great, but you cannot compare universities there to universities here. You can't compare universities in other countries, UK or Canada, to, you know, Harvard, MIT, Stanford, Cornell, Columbia, Berkeley. This is a different, we're talking about the Ferraris and Lamborghinis of the world, you understand? So our focus is that because we're a US institution with موهبة, we are interested in developing talent. This is open on Saudi. You can apply and participate in Tamiz as a non-Saudi student. We have students that are non-Saudi in the program. The only thing that you are not eligible for are the scholarships at the end. That's the only difference, right? Scholarships that are coming for Saudi students only. But to benefit from Tamiz, you can apply, but our focus is not Saudi universities, right? That's the reason. Our mandate is not that, right? It's not our core mission. Our mission is we want to bring the best students to the best universities. The best universities are the top universities here. That's why.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next question is Angam's phone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Excuse me, I want to ask you, is your partnership only for the US university? There is the student cannot apply in any of the UK university like Oxford or something like that in UK?
So excellent question. So the Tamiz program itself focuses on US. However, we do have students going to the UK and other countries, and we have had Tamiz students who we've provided informal assistance to through the program by giving them Mohammed. Mohammed also applied to UK. Of course, he went to UCLA because UCLA is an incredible school. But I would say will not offer a for UK, but students can apply to the UK as long as they also apply to the US. So if a Tamiz student is in the program and they apply to UK, they're going to get help from on the extracurricular side, which you also need for UK, for schools like Oxford and Cambridge. And plus, you can only apply to Oxford or Cambridge. You cannot apply to both. And Oxford and Cambridge do not accept Saudi muqarrarat. You have to have certain educational systems, like IB A levels. So if your son or daughter is in a high school, you are not eligible to apply to Oxford and Cambridge anyways, because they don't recognize. You have to do a foundation year first in the UK, right? But that's a separate conversation. So the point is, our students in Tamiz can apply anywhere in the world. They can apply to Saudi, they can apply to Canada, they can apply to UK, they can apply to Singapore. But the requirement is that they must also fulfill our requirements, which is they must apply to top universities in the US as well. So we will never stop someone from applying to other countries as long as they're also applying to the US. Faris Al-Yami. Hello?
Yes, hello, sir. How are you?
Yes, go ahead. Your question, please, Faris.
I have a score of 900 in SAT.
Yep.
Is it good for registering? Or should I take IELTS?
I would take IELTS or TOEFL and apply with that, right? Because you need to make sure you're above the minimum, right?
So it's better to take IELTS or TOEFL with the SAT score.
Correct.
Okay, the second question.
Yeah.
How long is the workshop held in November?
1 week. It's
mentioned in the website that it's 7 weeks.
No, 7 days. It's a typo then if it says 7 weeks. It should say 7 days. Send an email to tamiz@mohiba.org.sa. Let them know what you see with a screenshot so they'll fix it. Thank you. Samah Al-Johani.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
I would like to ask 2 questions. The first one is there an acceptance rate for Tamiz?
So there's not an official acceptance rate the program is selective by virtue of us selecting students that are top students. And we only attract students that are top students. So by having a filtering mechanism, by having certain SAT scores or IELTS or TOEFL scores, many students won't be able to qualify anyways, so they don't bother applying. I would say that you focus on applying and seeing if you can get in. That is the focus. And of course, I would say that what is more important is the output. We have the largest number of Saudi students getting accepted to the Ivy League and top universities in the history of the country, period. There is no school that has the same results in data as us. And we have had Saudi students getting into the Ivy League every single year since 2014 without exception. And that doesn't exist anywhere in the country. So you can calculate in your mind the formula to figure out what Tamiz does. Now, of course, it's a competition, right? You have to put in the work. It's not just us doing the work. The students are the driving engine. And you heard from those students today.
Yes, okay. I actually have 2 more questions if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, second question is, what is exactly your role in improving my extracurriculars?
So think of it as, I'm using a sports analogy, right? So in sports like football, soccer, right? Messi scores the goals, but he does training with the coach, right?
Yeah.
So the guidance in your mentorship sessions, in your one-on-one sessions with your advisors from our team, they will get to know you individually, your interests, your passions. You will look at brainstorming ideas and they will give you a plan. But then you have to go score that goal, right? You have to go. Yeah. But the good news is you have help available all the time because we're accessible online in the group as a day. So you can message us, message our team. You have students in Tmayyiz that are also interested in launching ideas, so you can work with them as well, right?
Okay,
so
great.
In that sense, you will make sure that you have a community to collaborate with.
Okay, thank you. Our last question is, how many universities do I get to apply to with my advisor, like with help from him or her?
So that depends on your SAT score at the end. So if your SAT score is high, you can get help with as much as 5 schools. If or is not high, but you fulfill the Tmayyiz requirements, then help with 3 schools.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jude Hijaz, can you please ask your question?
Yeah, hi. So I'm currently taking the SAT prep program.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if I could like postpone my SAT test because I don't think I could take it in this short period of time. I want to study more for it. So can I apply for Tmayyiz with only my TOEFL score?
Yes, you can do that. I mean, we prefer you to the SAT as well, but you are allowed to apply only with TOEFL or IELTS as well. Yes, that there's no issue there. You know, if you want to, I mean, that's allowed, is what I'm saying. Make sense? All right. Next question is Raneem Bantan.
May I ask you please to explain more about the interview? So we can prepare.
Sorry, the interview? Okay, so the interview is an opportunity. Let me just share my screen again, sorry. So the interview is an opportunity for students, for us to get to know who you are as a person, right? So it's an opportunity for us to understand who you are as a, and what is it that you're able to offer and what makes you tick. So it's our way of assessing your qualities, right? That's kind of how it works. So it's a short interview. It's not going to take long, but at least through the interview, we can get a better sense of your personality, your ambitions, and then based on that, we decide who is a good fit. Next question, Abdullah Saud.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I have 2 questions. The first one, are grade 12 students who have achieved high SAT scores, such as 1600, are eligible to enroll in the program?
No, so through Tmayyiz, you cannot enroll as a grade 12. I mean, if you have any questions about the process, you can contact us and we can help you. But it's you know, Tmayyiz as a program starts in grade 11. And obviously, if you have 1600, mashallah, that's amazing. That's great job. So I would just, you know, send us a message and we can give you some tips. But through Tmayyiz, it's a journey that takes 1 year. So I would say, you know, send us a message. I already shared, you know, the contact info earlier. But in terms of the program, it's a 1.5 year engagement that starts from 11th grade.
Okay. Thank you. And the second question, is the Qudrat test score a benefit or preference for admission, since it is similar to the SAT test? Because many of my friends have high scores while they are in grade 11.
US universities do not care about Qudrat. Qudrat, you only need for the scholarships. Yeah, Qudrat doesn't matter. We have students in top Ivy League with Qudrat scores that are low by Saudi standards. Qudrat, you only need for the scholarship. And Qudrat, you can do in Thalith Thanawiyya. You can wait till then. Why? Because Qudrat is not rocket science, right? SAT, I gave you an example, 100% Qudrat, and nobody cares if you get 100%. Mabruk, you celebrate with some. Nobody cares in the US about قدرات. 0%. SAT, yeah, of course they care. So قدرات you will need to do, but you can do it later on at the end, and trust me, it's not hard for you, especially after you prepare for the SAT.
Okay, the last chance in SAT exam is 2 October only?
Yes, but you can also apply with IELTS or TOEFL, remember.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Rima Kokandi, I'm trying to unmute you now. Ask your question, Rima. I just unmuted you.
Yes, thank you. So
You're
I'm in
welcome.
11th grade, and so my SAT, I registered for October 2nd. So if I apply and I say that I'm going to take my SAT, it's like it goes through. And like
Well,
you would like call me for the interview, or do you need to wait for
Did
my
you do TOEFL or IELTS?
No.
Okay, so yes, you are allowed to do that. You can put in that I'm taking the October SAT, and we would then, and then you can send us the score after. That is correct.
Okay,
Provided, of course, your academics in school are good and so on.
Yeah, so but I don't need like the TOEFLs or IELTS to register.
If you're sure that you can get above 1,000 in SAT, then no, you don't need. It depends on you, right? Or then no problem, right? Simple as that.
Okay, so I'm also an American citizen. Do I still need the TOEFLs and the IELTS?
You don't.
No.
We have.
Even if I'm also a Saudi citizen, because I'm both.
Correct. I know both, but
so I don't need.
So we have our U.S. Saudi citizens typically do TOEFL just so that they can get it out of the way and become to a Saudi high school. Is it officially required? No, because you are a U.S. citizen, you can make the case. So the answer is you don't need TOEFL or IELTS for university purposes to get into college if you are a U.S. citizen as well.
But I need it for the application?
Well, for the application, we have to have some metric. So clearly your English, mashallah, is great, right? So how do we wait unless you apply? And so for you, probably doing TOEFL, you just walk in and do the test, you easily get a high score. At least that way you're guaranteeing that, okay, you're in the system. You know what I mean? SAT, if you're confident you can get above 1,000, fine, go for it. But God forbid, I don't know, something happens and you don't get that, then I understand you're a US citizen and that's great, for colleges especially. But in order for you to qualify the numerical standard into the program, you want to be safe. And I really don't think TOEFL or IELTS is going to be hard for someone like you, to be quite honest with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next question, Hashim.
Okay, so let's apply for.
Hashim, can you hear me?
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام هاشم.
أقدر أسأل بالعربي صح؟
تتكلم عربي؟ Just go ahead, ask the question. I'll do my best.
وش متطلبات تسأل؟ أنا الصراحة لغة الإنجليزية مو مرة يعني.
أول شيء بالنسبة لهذا البرنامج لازم عندك إنجليزي، لأنه نحن تدريبنا بالتميز مو بيكون بالإنجليزي، right؟ تدريب نفسية قيادية حق القبول بالجامعات قوي. So we don't offer English training. This is the problem. So if your English isn't strong enough, maybe أنت ثاني ثانوية ثالث ولا أول ثانوية؟
ثاني.
ثاني. Yes. So أنت سويت الاختبار TOEFL or IELTS لا؟
لا ما سويت.
والSAT سويت الSAT؟
لا ما سويت اختبار ولا اختبار.
بس يعني هذه شروط ضروري حق التميز يعني ما يقدر يسجل حق تميز بدون الاختبار SAT والتوفل IELTS. يعني إذا عندك مجال مثلا بتروح تسوي تدريب حق التوفل IELTS وتسوي الامتحان شو بتصير يعني أوكي you can do it. بس for تميز لازم عندك أو SAT.
لمتى طيب التسجيل في التميز؟
أكتوبر أعتقد الشهر 10 بالوسط يعني I think 14 و13 شهر 10 يعني شهر قادم يعني عندك بهالشهر يعني.
اوكي شكرا رحم الله والديك.
عفوا حبيبي. Okay, we next stop is Abu Dasir. Are you there? Hello? No? Okay. All right. Ramaz
Hello?
Yes. Who is this? Ramaz?
Yeah, I'm Ziad.
Ziad. Okay, go ahead, Ziad.
Yeah. I have a question. Simple.
Yeah. Yep.
Does I have to take the SAT to join before join this program?
If you have TOEFL or IELTS, you can apply with TOEFL. We prefer SAT, but if you have TOEFL or IELTS, you can also apply with TOEFL or IELTS. You can apply without the SAT if you have TOEFL and IELTS.
I mean to join in this program, and after that, I can take the SAT.
The or IELTS?
No, I mean SAT.
No, I understand, but you're asking about can you apply to Tmayyiz without SAT, right? That's your question.
No, not without. I will take the SAT, but after the.
No, you cannot. You have to have. Well, again, you can do that. Yes, you can take SAT afterwards if you have TOEFL or IELTS now. So you can apply with TOEFL or IELTS instead of SAT to Tmayyiz. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
That's it. So if you don't want to do the SAT, we prefer SAT, but if you don't want to do it, if you get a high score in TOEFL or IELTS, you can apply with TOEFL or IELTS to Tmayyiz. Yes.
So,
but one of the tests.
The TOEFL and IELTS more importantly than SAT, right?
يبدو أن الدكتور واصف صار عنده مشكلة بالاتصال. معكم فاتن تويم من موهبة. بإمكانكم توجيه الأسئلة لي وراح أجاوب على اللي أقدر عليه لحد ما يرجع الدكتور واصف معنا. كثير من الطلاب سألوا في الشات وين ممكن أعمل اختبار السات. رابط التسجيل في اختبار السات موجود على صفحة البرنامج. الاختبار السات لا يوجد منه نسخة أونلاين، فهو لازم يعني عمل حضوري. ولمعرفة مراكز الاختبار المتوفرة في مدينتك لازم تدخل على موقع الكوليج بورد وتختار find test centers في المدينة اللي أنت موجود فيها، وحتنعرض لك التست سنترز المتاحة لك. ما أعرف مين عنده سؤال، إذا ممكن سحر.
في كذلك كثير أسئلة تكررت علينا اللي هو بالنسبة لاختبار اللغة التوفل والآيلتس. جدا سهل، أسهل من السات، على الأقل متوفرة أكثر. فأحب يعني الجميع يحاول يحجز في اختبارات اللغة لأنها أسهل ومتوفرة، وإن شاء الله تحصلون على الدرجة اللي تأهلكم للمشاركة في البرنامج. راح نحاول نفتح المايك اللي عندهم أسئلة، بس ثواني. مطلق تقدر تفتح المايك؟ مطلق العتيبي.
الو، السلام عليكم.
تفضل.
اول شيء حاب اني اشكر تميز على جهودهم على اللي يوفرونه للطلاب، وابي اوضح اول شيء ان ترى الحساب اللي انا داخل به حساب ابوي، ما هو بحسابي انا. واجهت مشاكل اني ادخل على البث بحسابي فدخلت بحساب ابوي. بالنسبه للاسئله اللي عندي، احتاج ان انا سمعت حاجه عن اللي هو individual advisor، المستشار الشخصي. وين ممكن اني اقابله او اني يعني اجيه او اتواصل معه او يساعدني في المشاكل اللي أنا أواجهها.
طيب سؤالك، احنا لما تكلمنا عن individual sessions والادفايزر اللي يكون لكل طالب، هذه لما تسجل في البرنامج كل طالب راح يتم جدولة له تقريبا 4 جلسات فردية مع الاستشاري موزعة خلال السنة اللي انت معانا مشارك في البرنامج. فلما تسجل يبدأ البرنامج راح تعرف مين الادفايزر اللي بيكون معك.
تمام. طيب بالنسبة للاختبار الSAT ما أقدر إني أخذه أبدا أونلاين، لازم أروح مركز أختبر فيه.
اي نعم، اختبارات اللغة هي اللي متوفرة أونلاين، عشان كذا أقول لكم اختبارات اللغة.
واختبار الSAT فقط في أكتوبر 2 ما أقدر أعيده، يعني هذا آخر اختبار ممكن إني أختبره.
يعني في مستقبلا في اختبارات مجدولة، لكن علشان التسجيل في البرنامج ما راح يمديك.
تمام. طيب أنا الحين خارج الرياض، لو حصل مشكلة إني ما قدرت أجي الرياض، يعني كيف بختبر؟
الاختبارات اللغة أونلاين تقدر تختبر من مكانك، فقط الورش اللي لازم تيجي للرياض اللي هي الورشتين اللي تقام خلال السنة.
يعني الاختبار الSAT نفسه أنا الحين خارج
أنت تشوف
الرياض.
تشوف في منطقتك هل في سنترز للاختبار السات؟
لا ما أتوقع. أنا الحين في القويعية قريب من الرياض، بس خارج.
طيب بس علشان الوقت ونتيح الفرصة يسألون، كل واحد يسأل مثلا سؤال واحد يكون هو الأهم بالنسبة له، ويحاول إنه يستمع لإجاباتنا على الأسئلة اللي ممكن تكررت من زملائه، ما يصير في تكرار للأسئلة حفاظا على الوقت، لأنه يعني راح ننهي بعد يعني قليل.
تمام. الحين وش الحل طيب مع
طيب تواصل مع الكوليدج بورد، ارسل لهم إيميل وهم يعطونك الضوابط والسياسات اللي تخصهم.
تمام.
بالتوفيق.
يعطيك العافية.
نواف، في نواف بعد.
أهلا، أنا سجلت في اختبار SAT 2 أكتوبر، والنتائج تطلع 15 أكتوبر، يعني بعد ما ينتهي التسجيل تقريبا بيومين. هل أقدر أني مثلا أتواصل مع موهبة بحيث أنهم يأخذون النتيجة بعد ما يقفل التسجيل؟
نعم، بإمكانك التسجيل أو إرفاق ما يثبت قيامك بالاختبار في النظام. بعدها حتمنح مثل القبول المشروط، وراح يجدول لك مقابلة. بعد ما تحصل على النتيجة تزودنا فيها على الإيميل. إذا حصلت على 1000 فما فوق واجتزت المقابلة يتم قبولك في البرنامج. في حال عدم حصولك على الدرجة المطلوبة لا يمكن قبولك في البرنامج، لكن راح يتاح لك التسجيل بإثبات فقط الاختبار.
طيب الإثبات يكون على منصة التسجيل أو يكون على إيميل موهبة؟
لا، على منصة التسجيل نفسها، على أساس أنه تكمل التسجيل وتنتقل لمرحلة المقابلة الشخصية.
شكرا.
الآن نسمع من ريم.
تمام، السلام عليكم. أنا أبغى أسجل في التميز، أبغى أدرس طب، لكن أعرف إنه بالجامعات الأمريكية ما يقبلوا الطب بعد التخرج على طول من الثانوي، فهل يمديني أسجل بالتميز أو لا؟
أنت تخططين دراسة هنا في السعودية؟
إيش
ألو ريم،
في أي صف؟
في الصف الثاني ثانوي.
طيب عندك شروط التسجيل في البرنامج؟ SAT أو أحد اختبارات اللغة؟
إيه اختبرت SAT وجبت الدرجة المطلوبة، لكن ما أدري إذا يمديني أسجل وأنا أواطب.
ما أدري أنا يقطع عندي. ريم أنت تقولين أنت عندك SAT وفي ثاني ثانوي صحيح؟
أيوه لكن يمديني أسجل في الطب ولا لا لازم تكون البريمد ميجرز؟
معليش انقطع علي الاتصال. سؤالك هو هل تقدرين تدرسين طب وتسجلين صح؟
ايوه اسجل التميز وانا واطب.
ايوه برنامج تميز متاح لجميع الطلاب. واضح تسمعيني؟
ايوه
برنامج تميز متاح لجميع الطلاب بغض النظر عن التخصص. يعني تكوني متأكدة أنه راح يتوفر لك بعثة تبتعثك لدراسة الطب. يعني إحنا مثل ما قلنا في بداية اللقاء أنه إحنا نأهل بعد حصول على القبول تؤهل الجهات اللي توفر لك وزارة التعليم سابق أرامكو. طبعا في جهات لا تطلب الطب أبدا مثل سابق أو أرامك هاوس تعليم تبدأ.
لكن أنا أعرف إنه
توفر البعثة وقت البرنامج. يعني صح هي أمريكا موجودة ببلاروس لازم تدرسين تخصص علمي بريمد وبعدين تتخصصين.
يعني أقدم بالتميز بريمد ولا أقدم على طب؟
تسمعيني يا ريم؟
ايوه اسمعك.
اي طب
قصدي بالتميز يمديني اسجل بالطب ولا؟
اي يمديك
شكرا.
بس يعني على حسب البعثات اللي متوفرة، يعني إذا في جهات تبتعث للطب.
تمام يعطيك العافية.
ممكن بس نسمع من أحد فقط زيادة اللي جاوبنا عليه اللي تنزل يده.
الاجتماع مسجل نعم وموجود على حسابنا في تويتر وراح يكون متوفر إلى يوم غد. تقدرون يعني تشوفونه من بداية التسجيل، فممكن الآن تدخلون على حساب تويتر وتشوفون كامل اللقاء من بدايته.
ممكن عساف ناخذ آخر سؤال.
السلام عليكم.
السلام.
عندي سؤالين. الحين إذا أنا اختبرت توفل أنا في أوغست، معلش السات في أوغست وجبت درجة 950. بس إني برضو بختبر توفل في 29 سبتمبر، هل يمديني أقدم باثنينهم ويكون عندي يعني احتمالية قبول؟
لو قدمت
أنا بختبر توفل إن شاء الله في 29 سبتمبر وبختبر سات برضو مرة ثانية في 2 أكتوبر، فبقدم بدرجة السات الأولى والتوفل حق 29 سبتمبر وإن شاء الله لما تطلع درجة السات الثانية بقدمها لكم إن شاء الله. بس هل يعني في لي احتمالية قبول إذا ما جبت درجة السات المطلوبة يعني وأنا مقدم باختبار التوفل واختبار السات؟
إذا درجتك في التوفل مؤهلة تكفيك، ما تحتاج سات.
طيب إذا قدمت باثنينهم هل لي أفضلية على بعض الطلاب أم لا؟
المفاضلة على السات تكون حسب الدرجات الأعلى وليس تعدد الاختبارات اللي قمت بها. أكيد يحسب لك أنك أنت جالس تحاول ويوضح لنا أنه أنت عندك إصرار، لكن الأفضلية تكون بالأعلى في السات.
أوكي، شكرا، يعطيكم العافية.
الله يعافيك. أستاذ أضواء ننهي؟
إيه رجع صوت. أوكي، إيه خلاص هذا آخر شيء. يعطيكم العافية جميعا. وزي ما ذكرنا إحنا موجودين للإجابة على استفساراتكم على إيميل البرنامج أو على حساب خدمة العملاء أو على تويتر، وراح نرد عليكم إن شاء الله في وقت قصير، والجميع إن شاء الله بيلحق على التسجيل البرنامج، ولكن احرصوا على الأقل اختبارات اللغة لأنها متاحة إن شاء الله، متاحة حتى عن بعد. بالتوفيق للجميع وفي أمان الله.
في أمان الله. بإمكانكم إرسال الاستفسارات اللي ما قدرنا نرد عليها على إيميل البرنامج. إحنا نرد على الإيميل بشكل يومي، يعني لا تشيلون هم. استفساراتكم توجهونها لنا على الإيميل وإن شاء الله كلها